Choose your fighter.
Yo, what up YouTube? This is part 2 of my Videl tutorial. If you missed the last part, links in the description. Let's get started. So let's go ahead and get the block strings started. So we're going to set them to guard all. Alright, let's talk about block strings. So, her main 2 block strings you're going to be doing is light, medium, back, medium. Crouching medium into 6H, canceling the second hit of 6H into Rekka. So here's the full thing, and that's pretty much where you want to stop. If they reflect this move, then you're going to whiff the third hit of Rekka. So you almost never want to do the third hit of Rekka in a block string. There are exceptions. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But, so this is like her main block string, and then the second version, you want to do crouching light into crouching medium. So this is anytime you think they might reflect, you would do this. Right? That's when you would do this. And the same thing, you want to cancel on the second hit. Because if they reflect, so let's say they reflect. Let's have her do this block string to me. That's how we'll do it. Not guard first. Let's keep this on guard all. Let's pull Videl out. Let's set a recording. And let's show you the intricacies of this block string here. Okay, so if you want this to all be true, you do this. And that was all true. You'll notice that I'm holding up back that whole time. This is all true. Like, so she can keep a true block string for a pretty decent amount of time. But Videl excels in her gaps. So let's say you want to do something like this, right? Let me switch here so I have a real reflect. So after this vanish, I'm gonna reflect, and then I get bopped, right? So it's really strong to know that anytime you go from 2L to 2M, you're gonna bop people trying to reflect. Also, there is a gap here, a pretty large gap actually. You can vanish, but mid-screen you will whiff and you'll be just fine. And in the corner, you can counter vanish and throw them back into the corner, and then they're just right back into it. So in the corner, her block strings are going to be a little bit different because we don't typically want to use Gohan in our block strings mid-screen, because if they get hit by Gohan, like you can't tell right now, but if they get hit by Gohan mid-screen, then we don't get a combo. They just get blown away, and then the rest of our block string whiffs. But in the corner, if they get hit by Gohan, then they have to deal with all of this. Like if they get hit, they get a combo, and if I reflect, like I'm getting bopped. If I reflect twice, like I was trying to mash reflect, like I'm still getting bopped. You actually have to reflect this like 5 times. It's pretty strong. And she can actually, so she can call an assist there and then keep the pressure going, and you have to reflect more times. Or she can bait you by doing this. There we go. Okay. Reflect. Oh shit, it didn't come out. Reflect, 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 reflect. Uh-oh, I got bopped. She will go all the way to the other side of you and bop you on the other side of the head. And if you're still trying to reflect, your reflect will whiff and you will get punished. So, it's really, really strong. So note that reflecting is typically not the answer. Alright, let's talk a little bit about her pressure game and what, like, your mindset here in these block strings. Because these block strings, like the whole point behind them is to open up your opponent. Her main mix is this right here. Overhead, low, right? She can also, you know, get the standard super dash into crouching attack or dash attack. And you do want to do that and add that into your game. Okay, most of the time you're going to want to do something like this. Low. And that was true. So let me show you. I'm mashing. That was all true. So yeah, and I got opened up low because I was trying to reflect. Yeah. So that's the low, and then we have the overhead. So this you can reflect, but I get to keep my pressure. My assist comes out, I can dash back in and continue the pressure. If they get it by the assist, I can usually confirm. So, it's still really, really strong. Alright, let's talk about what your opponent's options are and how to beat them. So you, as a Videl player, and this is probably one of the most important parts of this whole video, so watch this part. Don't leave. If you're seeing this part of this video, stay. This is important. Okay? Alright. So, as a Videl player, everything really revolves around this Rekka. And you, as a Videl player, need to really get a grasp on what kind of opponent you're dealing with. Alright? Does your opponent like to reflect? And most people will try to reflect. Most people think that they can just reflect right there and their life is going to be easy. And I'm going to show you a bajillion ways to deal with those people. Some people will try to press a button. They will just mash. I'll show you how to deal with that. Some people will try to vanish, or really there is options for everything, and Videl can cover most options with very few options. So let me first show you what to do against reflectors. Okay, so your first option against reflectors is the most basic one. It's to continue your block string, right? Alright, now let's try this. So I'm gonna reflect, Yamcha comes in, Videl comes back in, and there's really not much I can do about it. So that's like the first way you can beat reflect, is you just continue your pressure, like nothing changed. You get your block strings down, and if they try to do anything, like you don't really have to worry, you know you're okay. At the very least, you're gonna be safe, right? That's if you have an assist. If you don't have an assist, things change a little bit, but let's say if you have an assist, right? The next easy way to beat reflect is to go low with an assist. So what you want to do is you want to make a true block string and then go low. And this will bop them, because in order to reflect, you have to stand up. You have to stand up to reflect. Like you can't crouch and reflect, because the input for reflect is back and S. So if you keep them in a true block string and go low, you will just straight open them up. And I usually do 2L, 2M there, so I'll show that. Like that. So I'm going to try to reflect. Bomb. Into a combo. So, really, really strong. That's the second way to beat reflect. Here's the third way to beat reflect. Here's what you can do if... Here are options Videl has to beat reflect if you don't have an assist. And these are all strong options. So if they're thinking about reflecting, they're not thinking about hitting a button, right? So this is against reflectors. Alright, so we know this is punishable, but this is still really strong. And here's why. They're still in. So I get the reflect. And I would have to reflect twice. That's the answer. Otherwise, I'm getting hit. So that's the next option to beat it. Here's the fourth way to beat reflect, and this is also a really strong way. This is how I catch reflectors most of the time. Well, this and the last one I just showed you. These are all options that you should be doing anyways, because these are just strong options in general. If you notice, all these options that beat reflect are also mix-ups. Like, the first one is an overhead, the second one is a low, this one is a grab. Like, they are, not only do they beat reflect, but these are all mix-ups. So these are options that you should be doing every time. They all beat reflect, and they're all mix-ups. And people who think that they can reflect are just going to get bopped. No matter which option you pick, they're going to get bopped. Because they're trying to reflect. Alright? You only want to change your options when you come across somebody who does something different. Alright? So, those are ways to beat reflect. Here's another way that I beat reflect. If I know, I only do this when I know for certain they definitely are going to reflect. This is what I do. So I go straight into crouching M and watch what happens. It's the perfect timing to catch them. If you go straight into 2M without a gap, you will straight punish them. So, it's really, really strong. Okay. Another way to beat reflect is to slightly delay into cross up. So here we go. So I put a very small gap there. And I get clapped. Like, I put a very, very small gap. And that time, I didn't even get reflect because I reflected too late and she was on the other side. So it's pretty strong. So she has a ton of ways of beating reflect. If you did this as soon as you could, you would be able to reflect this. You've just put the smallest itty-bit gap and it'll beat reflect. Alright, next up, we're going to talk about how to beat people who mash, because this is punishable. This is -8. So how do we beat people that mash? Alright, the first and the easiest and the most simple way is to just continue the block string. Because she is so strong in her pressure game because of this reason. So anytime that you get any opponent that likes to hit buttons, like this is almost better than reflectors, because you're gonna open them up a lot. You're gonna open them up so freaking much for trying to hit buttons that eventually they're gonna stop trying to hit buttons and they're gonna start trying to reflect, and then they're in danger again. So she can continue this at any time, right? So I'm just going to show you what I mean. I'm going to make a few recordings just to show you how dangerous it is to press a button. So on slot 1, we're going to do... No, I'm not going to do all this. On slot 1, we're just going to do into 2L, right? On slot 2, we're going to do into overhead. Actually, we're going to re-record that. So we're going to put a gap here. So we're gonna stop our pressure there. So the first time we stopped our pressure on the first hit, the second time we stopped our pressure on the second hit, the third time we're gonna stop our pressure on the third hit, and the fourth time we're gonna stop our pressure. We're not gonna stop our pressure. Alright, so now we have 4 options here. Let's turn them all on. Alright, let's try to hit a button. Oh, damn. Oh, damn. Oh, damn. Oh, damn. Oh, hey, I got one. None of my buttons came down. Oh, I got bopped. Like... You will get the hit way more often than they will, because you don't know. You just don't know when she's gonna stop. Like, if you keep it random and you stop on the first hit sometimes, you stop on the second hit sometimes, and that's really 90%, you're going to stop on the first or second hit. But once in a while, you're going to stop on the third hit. And I'm telling you, this is a fantastic way to open people up with button mashers. It's just let your block string go just a little bit further, and you will open up button mashers. This is the first strong way to open up button mashers. Alright? Here's some more tips to open up button mashers. So I'm going to turn this to attack. So they're going to attack as soon as they can. Here's the first way you can beat a button masher. Grab will beat a button masher. So grab, remember, will beat button mashing. It will beat reflect. You need to be using grab a lot. It covers a lot of options. If they try to jump, they'll get hit. The only thing it doesn't beat is crouch, which they're not going to be doing because the next hit is an overhead. Like, this is an overhead, right? They have to stand block. They have to, right? If they don't, they're going to get hit by this overhead next time, right? So, the grab, really strong. Alright. That's what you do against button mashers. So we've talked about people who want to reflect. We've talked about people who want to mash buttons. Let's talk about people who want to option select you. Alright, so first let me teach you the option select for beating Videl. And then I'm going to teach you how to beat the option select. So if you come across an advanced player who is just like consistently dealing with you, they might be option selecting you. Here's the option select. So I'm going to set Videl to... I'm going to record. In slot 1, we're going to record Videl doing overhead. Right? And in slot 2, we're going to record Videl going low. There we go. And that's on random, right? So here's the option select. We're going to stand block. We're going to stand block. And then at the same time that we would block the overhead, we're going to do crouching. We're going to do crouching out. So boom, boom. Boom, boom. And that's how you do it. So at the same time that you would block the overhead, that's when you press a button. And you can still stand block while doing this. Alright, so this is like the option select. This is one option select. The other option select is you can try to reflect, but we already talked about all the ways to beat that. So this is the option select that a lot of people will do. And they will also try to fuzzy guard you, so this is the second way. They will block high and then block low, right? We can beat both these options by doing this. Let me add a third option in. So now that we have a third option, the third option will beat. So here's the third option. Did you see the difference? She can slow down her Rekka by a great deal. She can slow down her Rekka so much that the overhead and the low will hit at the same exact time, making it a true 50-50, right? So anytime you have someone being patient, so they're not reflecting, they're not pressing buttons, so they're just trying to block you, or they're trying to counter you with an option select, you bring in the 50-50. You bring in the slow overhead, and you use the slow overhead from now on, and they will get hit a lot. Because then, now they're having to deal, if they're not trying to counter you, now they have to deal with the 50-50. Are you going overhead or are you going low? They hit at the same time. There's nothing you can do about it. So let me show you. Let me try to do the option select. So that was slow, but... Oh, I got hit. Oh, see that time? That was the slow version, and I got hit. So I was trying to do the option select. And because... See, there it is again. I got opened up. Oh, there it is again. I got opened up. Oh, that time I slowed down. See, that's what happens. You'll naturally, as a person fighting against Videl, you'll try to slow down because, or like, oh, Videl is slowing down her overhead. Let me try to slow down my light. And now they land and go low, and you get hit by a full combo because you tried to slow down. So it's really strong. So it's really simple way of beating all their options. So you want to start out as a Videl trying to beat reflectors, right? Most people are going to try to reflect. If you find that you don't have a reflector, you have a button masher, then you do the button masher stuff. Okay, so in addition to her like normal pressure, she also has a really good mix that lets you switch characters. So for example here, her 6H, she can cancel, she can start holding assist immediately. Like I call 6H and assist at the same time. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me change this to guard all for now because there is one gap. There is a gap between the first and second hit there, but after that, the super dash covers the next gap, and then Videl covers after super dash. So it's pretty strong. So watch. Now, if you go low there, so let me show you the overhead too. If you go low, there is a small gap, but they cannot vanish. They cannot hit a button. It is a frame trap. So they can't do anything other than reflect. And the overhead is true. So, and you can do this with any character, of course. You can do this with Yamcha. Or you can do the overhead. Yeah. So it's really strong. And there's easy ways to convert off this into cool combos too. We'll show you that in the combo section. Yo, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this Videl tutorial, please hit a like and subscribe. Also, share these videos with, you know, anyone that's playing Videl. You know, your buddy plays Videl or wants to learn Videl. You know, share these videos with them. It helped me out a lot. It helped them out a lot. Win-win. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you later.